Another day, another review. This time it is the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, that we are going to be reviewing today. Now, before I get into anything, let me just say this Daytona 500 was really enjoyable. I liked the racing all the way through. I liked everything that basically unfolded during the race. And the one thing that I could definitely say is that this one definitely tops the 2021 Daytona 500 by a long shot. There is no other race that I think that could top that race. That one sucked. But this race was good and I liked it. And today I'm going to review it, give a breakdown of the race and what happened. So here we go. So obviously the race starts and everything. Alex Bowman and Kyle Larson start on pole. They lead the field with a green flag. Alex Bowman chooses the outside lane, giving Larson the bottom. And the two of them have a really good battle for a while. Really good battle. A battle that, hell, even I enjoyed seeing between the two. Some of them would get runs, or sometimes they get runs and be able to get away from people or from the pack. Other times they just wouldn't be able to. They stay side by side, but that's the nature of Daytona and everything. It's unpredictable, so you have no idea what's going to happen. But a few laps go by, and Ty Dillon ends up blowing a motor coming out of turn number 3. He's coming down pit road, and unfortunately, he is taken out of the race, which again sucks for him, considering that he was booted from Petty GMS or Legacy Motor Club in favor of Noah Gragson. But then again, Ty Dillon wasn't really doing anything in the 42 like promised or anything like that. But he ended up blowing a motor. He was the first driver to DNF and everything like that. So that's what happened. Then later on, first round of pit stops happened. One of the main surprises to me that I'm surprised that this person didn't get a speeding penalty was Noah Gragson. He came flying into the pits. And I'm just as surprised as anybody to know that he didn't get hit with a speeding penalty, which myself and many others thought he would get hit with one, but he didn't get hit with a speeding penalty, so that part was a little bit questionable, but you know, other than that, they ended up coming down pit road and everything like that. Multiple groups come down, and another caution almost comes out, or a caution almost comes out yet again. This time for Riley Herbst, he ends up dropping it coming into the pits, which is a perfect example or perfect representation of Riley Herbst in NASCAR in general. I won't say any more on that, or else I'm going to get flamed for just saying that in general. But spinning out coming down pit road, and it didn't affect the race or anything like that. No caution was thrown, but he was able to get it back going, and the race was able to continue on. A few laps go by. One of the main drivers that looked to be competing for the win all race, Bubba Wallace, ended up getting into the wall from contact with Mark Truex Jr. Truex had a run and ended up hitting Bubba just enough to where it upset his car, and he ended up going into the outside wall. He ended up coming down pit road because of a flat tire. So he was on a completely different strategy compared to everybody else. And pretty much he was able to get back out and he was okay. But he had to really bank on, a caution coming out before he got lapped or anything like that. He did end up getting lapped, though, was the thing. One of the big surprises in this first stage was Jimmy Johnson. Johnson ended up starting last in the race, and he was able to move his way through the field and be at the top 10, or be inside the top 10 towards the end of the race. Coming to the final couple laps within the race, the leaders ended up catching lap traffic, and AJ Allmendinger ended up throwing a really bad, not really bad, but almost wreck inducing, or an almost wreck block on Eric Almirola. They were able to keep it going though, and nothing big happened. At the end of the stage, Brad Keselowski ended up winning it. Johnson ended up coming home 7th in the stage, so pretty good for them. And so the first stage, pretty enjoyable. It was pretty hectic as well, because some good pushes, some good drafting and everything like that. It looked like the RFK cars were going to be the main cars to beat. of Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher. And it seemed like to be that the whole way through. Stage 2 gets underway, and again, it was pretty good as the first stage was. One of the main drivers that surprised me the most was Ryan Preece. He was able to fight for the lead for a little bit. It was pretty cool to see him fight for the lead in a Stewart-Haas racing car, a car that, in all honesty, when Cole Custer was in it, wasn't really able to do the things that Ryan Preece has been able to do. So definitely something that was to keep an eye on. Also during the race, Austin Cindric's hood was about to fly off because of how hard he was pushing the guy ahead of him. And he didn't have to go down pit road or anything like that, but he definitely needed a caution, just like the guys that were lapped, to get a caution to be able to fix the hood and go back out and race. Some time goes by within stage 2. The outside line starts to form a little bit, and they start getting into a single file train. It wasn't full on single file, as there were still some cars on the inside. But it didn't take long for pit stops to happen, which, thank God, you know, prevented that from happening, prevented the whole, single file line from happening. So pit stops happened. Kyle Busch ended up getting bopped for speeding when he was coming into the pits. And that's pretty much, what happened there. It's unfortunate for Kyle, but he was able to get that. He was able to, do the pass through. And then shortly thereafter, a wreck happened, which involved a number of drivers, mainly Kevin Harvick and Tyler Reddick, alongside Kevin Harvick, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, and a couple of others. But the two people that were in the wreck that looked like they were going to win was Tyler Reddick and Ryan Blaney. They ended up getting involved in the crash in turns 3 and 4. Harvick gave a little bit of a shot to Reddick to try to get him to get past Blaney, or at least try to get him closer to Blaney so he can pass him. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. And pretty sure we all wish that this wreck didn't happen, but it did take out quite a bit of people. In this race, quite a bit of good people like Reddick and obviously Ryan Blaney, who was able to continue, but he didn't really have the same speed to compete for the lead towards the end. So that's ended up what happening. They go back racing, and then towards the end of stage number 2, there is a fight between Alex Bowman and Ross Chastain for the stage 2 win. Ross Chastain barely edges out Alex Bowman for the stage 2 win, and it was a photo finish. It's a cool photo finish. Ross Chastain ended up winning the second stage, which was pretty cool to see from him. And there's a lot of commercials in this race, and we'll get into that towards the end. But yeah, so there was a photo finish there, and then the final stage ended up happening. Start of the third stage, it was definitely going to be a race to know, or it was definitely going to be a dash to see who was going to be in it at the end of the race, whether it was going to be with fuel or without fuel. And one of the guys that ended up benefiting from the caution was Bubba Wallace. He ended up grabbing the lead off the restart, jumped in front of Eric Almirola, and lead the charge for a little bit. Bubba did quite a good job leading, but eventually he did, get past later on in the race. And he wasn't able to hold it. But a little while goes by, and pit stops happen. Obviously, splits the field up. Chevy team, the Chevys and Toyotas the Chevys are trying to do some tactics or whatever to prevent the Fords from pitting together, or all of them from pitting together. In the end, the Fords were able to be out front and everything. More of them were starting to come out of pit road, and at one point, Harrison Burton was leading, but it wasn't meant to last, as a wreck ensued behind them, which was the big one at Daytona, essentially, which involved Michael McDowell, Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, and Ryan Preece, unfortunately, which kind of broke my heart a little bit. We get to the restart, and it looks like Harrison Burton and Joey Logano are going to fight for the lead. Logano ends up getting pushed by Byron for the lead, and they kind of get a little crazy. Logano gets shuffled out by Byron, coming to 12 to go. That then after Logano got hit by Byron and everything, Allmendinger ended up ensuing the lead. And coming out of turn number 4, there was a little bit of a scare with Harrison Burton. He almost ended up crashing. He ended up getting loose off of turn 4, got into the side of Brad Keselowski, but everyone was able to avoid it, and they kept on going for the race. Some moves are being made up front, like the 2 RFK drivers were trying to make their way through the field. They're running 4th and 5th, and they were the 2 to jump out to try to pass Daniel Suarez and maybe make a charge, which they did end up making. Ended up holding the lead for a little bit. Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, and William Byron, however, were able to get to the outside of both the RFK drivers and pass them both going into the 3 and 4. And this was basically down to crunch time to see who would, I guess you can say, try to win the race and everything. But Kyle ended up holding the lead for a little bit until a caution ended up, freezing the field yet again. And this one was definitely going to be a change in the race, as it looked like Kyle Busch was going to win it, and Austin Dillon was probably going to, finish behind him and everything. But Daniel Suarez coming off of turn 4 ended up getting hooked, and he wasn't able to, he wasn't able to hold or anything like that. They were able to get to the white flag in time, and Kyle wasn't actually able to win the race. So basically, in this race, we had 2 overtimes, and the first one, they had a good, the restart was good, and Kyle Busch was getting passed by, Logano and Stenhouse up top, and from on the inside, obviously some things happened. Byron ended up getting into the back of Dillon, got him sideways a little bit, which then I got Kyle sideways. Stenhouse and Larson ended up getting down in front of Busch, and there was a chain reaction between Brad Keselowski and William Byron, which Keselowski ended up pushing Byron, but he carried so much momentum into Byron that Byron ended up slamming into Dillon a little too much to where it upset his car, and then another wreck ensued, which took out Byron for the win, and kind of again hurt me quite a bit that he was taken out of the equation. And it was made even worse when Jimmy was hit as well. So not really good at all, unfortunately. But that's what ended up happening. They ended up restacking the field and everything like that. It looked to be between Kyle Larson and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. They get to the final overtime restart. It looks to be in Kyle Larson's hands as he's getting a push from Brad Keselowski, and Stenhouse is getting a push from Logano. Larson has the lead for a little bit, but then Stenhouse comes right back out in front to ensue the lead. Larson ends up getting shuffled back a little bit. At the line, Logano ended up leading at the white flag. And that's when, Stenhouse really had to make a decision. And going into 1 and 2, he left Logano hanging up on the outside, and he went for the lead. And then a crash ensued behind them, which it was big and chaotic enough for NASCAR to throw the yellow and call the race there, which I'm not a huge fan of races ending under yellow. But if it's for safety reasons, that's fine. I would just love to see, the field reach the checker flag every once in a while. But no crazy flips happened in this race. No crazy flips happened in that race, or in that crash or anything like that. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was announced the winner of the Daytona 500, which was something I did not see coming. Especially after he moved to JTG Daughtry, which was a team that really was just a backmarker team, and he was kind of going in the wrong direction, especially with Roush at the time. He wasn't really going anywhere with them, even though he got them 2 wins. Didn't do anything, but, this was kind of a little bit of redemption. He got to win the Daytona 500 and everything, and it was pretty cool for him. Now, one of the things that I can say about this race that hurt this race a lot was the commercials. It felt like every 10 laps, Fox would just decide, let's just play a commercial. They do like a full commercial, or they do a side-by-side commercial, and that's when like the wreck between Harvick, Reddick, and Blaney had happened. And instead of going back, like stopping the commercial or anything like that and going back to the action to figure out the wreck or anything like that, figure out how it happened, they just play the commercials all the way through, and then they get back to it, which was just really annoying. And Fox has always had this issue with commercials really ever since 2021, essentially. And NBC has always been better when it comes to it because they always do side by side. But Fox really has this issue of just playing a shitload of commercials for no reason, and they've been doing it more recently, and it makes no sense. And I just wish that I just wish that they didn't play as many commercials as they did in this race, because there was a lot of moments that were missed, and we basically almost missed the first wreck, or the first big one, quote unquote, or the mini big one, uh, you know, in stage two, which was, it's insane to me, but I can definitely tell you this right now, the racing was good. I liked it. I liked the aggression and everything like that. Again, didn't like the commercials. I didn't like the fact that they did it that way. And I wish, or I hope, that Fox will actually listen and they'll be like, okay, let's not put as many commercials in a single race, for a race that's on Fox or anything like that. So, I mean, I'm hoping that, they get better at that. They show the racing and everything, so good on them. But yeah, just the over excessive amount of commercials is what killed it. So, Fox, please stop with the commercials. Please ease up on it. And maybe we'll have a change of heart. I have no idea. I don't know, but you never know sometimes. So, that's my review of the race, and what kind of rating would I give this race? I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't know what exactly I would give this race. I don't know what kind of like good rating or whatever I could give this race. But I guess one of the things that I can give this race is that it was good. And I don't know, just again the commercials killed it. So this would have been like a 9 out of 10, but with commercials it's more like a 7 out of 10. So I mean, I don't know. It like the racing, it was good and kind of boring at times, and then the commercials killed it. So still good race all around. Let's not take away from that. And once it comes out on YouTube, all that won't be there. So or if we just go to the racetrack and just watch it live for ourselves, which is another thing we all could do. But don't think millions of people can go there and have millions of people watch one track and have like no TV ratings is another thing. So I get why they do it, but at the same time, it's just like there's a race going on. If an incident happens, just cut to it. That's all you guys got to do. And they just didn't. They kept the commercials going and it killed it. So, again, hopefully they do better. That's all I want. That's all we want, essentially. So, that is my review of it. Again, final verdict is a 7 out of 10 for the race. Let me know what you guys think of the Daytona 500. Let me know if you guys thought it was good, okay, a little bit in between, or, just whatever. Let me know what you guys thought of it. And yeah, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to keep doing more race reviews. I'm going to be basically doing every single race or every single series review, for the races that go on. I'll do the trucks, Xfinity, and Cup whenever they end up racing, and I'll do a review of those more frequently. So the hope is I don't miss a race. So that's the hope. That's the big hope. So I want to thank you guys all so much, and I'll see you all later. My name is Chris. I'm also going to say peace out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. I love you guys, and goodbye.